Welcome back to the Curiosity Workshop. Today I have for you an interesting toy that came out of the 90s. It's called the Comes to Life Story Player by Yes Interactive. Back in the 90s, we didn't have the luxury of high density integrated circuits to just put in books. So someone came up with the idea of having the book read to you. This is the box for it. This was sent to me for repair. It was sent to me with this book. The way this works, these books have little miniature records in here. Zoom in on that a little. But the records are affixed to the page. Seems like each page has one. I was looking at these. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but each one seems to have a hand-scribed number on there. It was sent to me with 2 players. So the idea is that line up the triangle and then press play.
Sergeant Murphy arrived in a hurry. He reached down and picked up.
So that's the idea. Obviously this one's not working quite right, but it's pretty close. If you look at this, there's a little needle here that runs along the grooves in the record. This is allowed to move back and forth. I think that the only thing that's wrong with this and why it is skipping is that the tension here maybe has gotten gummed up and it's not as free to move back and forth as it's supposed to be. This was sent with 2 units. 2 play units. This one is missing its needle, and I don't know where I'm going to find, if I can find one that's like that. But you can see this one has a lot more ability for that needle to move back and forth. And I do want to say that I would like to shake the hand of the person that decided to make a child's toy, and the way that the child's toy works is that we have a fixed record and then we make the record player spin around the record. That's pretty impressive. It's also quite delicate looking at it. There's some crazy fine wiring in here, and of course there has to be a way to transfer the sound from the moving device, so there's 2 rings in there. I don't have any way of fixing this one because I don't think I can find a needle that size. I bought some and I might be able to graft something on, but if I can get one of these working, that'll probably be enough. Like I said, it has the tension on there. Doesn't seem very free to move, so I think that's the direction I'm going to go on attacking this. Let's take it apart. Looks like there's 6 screws holding it together. At the inside of this is pretty simple. There's a speaker, there's a little bit of an amplifier circuit, there's a motor to turn the mechanism, and then there's this complicated set of levers. And I think the idea is that since it needs to be lined up here, is that there's springs in the mechanism that pull it back to that position when you're done listening to the track. But what we're interested is getting to this mechanism here. So let me pull these screws out. There's a little rubber belt that the motor uses to turn the mechanism. But we still have to go a little bit deeper into this to get to that. There's an E-clip right here holding that on, so let's pop that off. See if we can do it without it flying across the room and disappearing forever. Alright, that should come off now. Be careful with this belt. Alright, on here are 2 rings that connect to these 2 brushes to transfer, I'm sure, just the signal from the needle. We'll clean those up a little bit too. And we're almost there. The wires that are in here that connect this are super fine, so I need to be careful. Looks like they're hot. No, that's not hot glue. That's just plastic things on there to hold it in position. I guess I can just pull this whole thing out. Oh, so delicate. Man, this thing is crazy. There's also a spring in here that applies a little bit of tension from the needle to the record. It's also weighted. There's a little interference ring on here that's holding it in place. So I think all I'm going to do is try to polish up this shaft just a little bit. Let me grab a pencil. I'm just going to use the eraser of this pencil on here just to give it a little bit of polish. Maybe I can pop that out of there. It looks like it's well worn, so I'm going to polish it with the eraser of this pencil, see if we can get a little of the wear worked out. I think I'll use a Dremel. Alright, that might help a little bit. Alright, I sprayed this modeling brush with just a really light lubricant. Just so I can put a small dab on there. So I'm going to press this back into its home. Alright, I think I got this thing working. I did have to sacrifice the other one for some parts. This whole thing is just crazy interesting. The whole concept of the record player circling around the fixed record is kind of fascinating to me because it has to do so many things. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we'll line this up. Green arrow on the red, we'll hit play.
Daddy pulled Huckle out. Why, look there. Huckle got a fish in his pants. Daddy couldn't catch anything. Let's go home.
So when you hit stop, it has to actually reset the needle back to the beginning of the record. These records play, it looks like, from the inside out, which is fine, which is backwards from the normal turntable style.
The three fishermen. Lonely, Huckle, and Daddy were going fishing. Their little motorboat took them far away from shore. Throw off the anchor, Lolly. Lolly threw the anchor out, and himself with it. Yeah!
That's pretty much it on this. Put the finishing touches on putting it back together. Alright, one last test.
Mr. Fix-It went home for supper. His wife kissed him hello.
Will you please give little Fix-It his bottle while I'm fixing supper?
Mr. Fix-It filled the
Alright, pretty cool. I'm going to send this back to my friend that sent it for repair. Hopefully it works for her for a little while. That's about all I can do with it, considering there's obviously no parts available for this thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick video on this interesting toy from the 90s. I think it's from the 90s. 1994 is this book. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome day.